It's an emergency. My wife is having a baby. Just kidding. Mike Malone got fired, and we got to talk about it. Also, my wife could go have a baby any moment. So let's get to it, Dan, and play that somber yet funky music. All right, April 8th, we have returned. The Blucifer Brothers. Breaking news today. Mike Malone's gone. Calvin Booth's gone. The season's over. It's a bit of a bummer. But we kind of want to break it down from our perspective and hopefully give some context and give some
we should also
listeners. Ryan, how is your day going?
Well, we should also say Kyle is recording this live from the maternity ward. His wife is actively having their second child, first daughter. That's not true at all, but it is imminent. So this is kind of a blessed, news day for us that we could record early in the week and ensure that you're available for duty should it call.
Yeah, dude, we're going to play one road game for a play-in, and then we'll be done. So won't have to miss any of those early moments in Lila's life. It'll be good.
We haven't fully spoken about this, just you and I. We've had some group chats. I'm sure your phone was somewhat like mine. I had just pulled into Costco when the news broke.
I was on lunch break. And was like...
And so I saw that you sent the post from Shams, and I was like, oh no, what happened? And I'm sitting in the Costco parking lot, and my phone is blowing up like somebody had just passed away. Like, people that I haven't heard from in a long time are texting me. And I was actually texting with friend of the pod, Scott, early in the day. He also just had a child. And I'm sure he'll be listening, but I was talking to him about his young son and was like, you haven't been letting him watch the Nuggets, right? Like, this can't be the introduction that he gets. And then literally 15 minutes later, the news breaks. So I think, needless to say, shocking, right? Like the first reaction is shock.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And it seemed like it caught like insiders off guard as well, right? Like
Windhorse had a stroke on ESPN.
Yeah, like there was a thing. Like I think in consuming all the media, and to give people disclosure, it's 10 o'clock at night, so like we've had some time to like hear. We wanted to give it some time to breathe because. I mean, our first reaction was like something must have happened within the building, like that made this so imminent, right? And I'm glad we waited because it gave time for us to listen to the Kroenke interview with Vic, and then also I think we talked about it at the beginning of the season. There was tension between Booth and Malone. That seemed to be pretty well known. It seemed like a lot of people thought that Booth was just not going to get renewed, that like kind of Malone would win the power struggle, but that if it was a first round exit, maybe it's a both out of there thing. But no one saw, with 3 games left, firing. I saw this is the latest firing in a season since Doug Collins in like the 80s. So it's pretty silly.
I think we should give people a little bit of context, right? Because I think we know so much at this point. Like you laid it out pretty well there, but I think the last part of that is really like how internally tumultuous this apparently was. And the last part that I think is interesting is really like how involved the Kroenkes have been within the last 4 weeks. Like this hasn't been, I don't think this is something that's been a big build. The biggest anecdote to me was that apparently Stan Kroenke sat on the bench like 2.5 weeks ago. Like Stan doesn't do anything with the Nuggets, let alone sit on the bench. So like for people that think this is an overreaction, they may be right, and we'll, I'm sure, dive into that. But like, this wasn't a decision that was, I don't think this was made rashly, which Josh did say in his statement, but I think there are things coming out that prove that they had been thinking about this very seriously. And I think with eyes on the offseason, right? Like that's what everybody assumed. But
Right.
it is a wild turn of events to have it done now.
Yeah, no, I think no one I shouldn't say no one, but my take on it is I just my kind of after listening to everything, I think I don't come down on I think Team Booth I don't come down with at all. Um and but the biggest villain here to me is the Cronkies. I think they're the biggest villain in all of this. I think that if you told me, and I think I was pretty consistent throughout the season that I thought this was a second round exit team. I had shifted to first round exit with Jamal Murray lingering. And I don't think that's anything that's truly wild to say. So I think if this plays out in a normal NBA fashion, the Nuggets are disappointing. They go from a 2 seed to a 6 or 7 seed. They lose in like a 4-1, not a pretty get blown out a few times fashion, which I think they probably would have. Then you fire Malone and Booth. And I think no one has a real problem with that. I would not have had a real problem with that. You've seen some deterioration both in the talent pool of the players chosen and in just the way that the team plays together, and something that we talked about it being so connected, and there's no grind over here. Those Nuggets were long gone, right? There was a grind here. However, I think that in listening to stuff like the Cronkies, we are one of two teams that doesn't have a practice facility. Like, we don't pay executives well. We don't pay coaches well. Like, we are not a team that was willing to go into the second apron with the best player in the world. Like, this is like,
Oh, hold on, though. Hold on.
Mike Malone gave 10
Oh.
years and is the only coach to bring a championship. And I think the harm that this does from the outside looking into the organization, if I am a good coach and I am saying, do I want to be a part of the Denver Nuggets? I am looking at this and saying, wow, there's almost no infrastructural investment. This owner is tied to about 20 different teams. So we're pretty much the last priority. And they just unceremoniously dumped a coach 3 games before in a fashion that can only be described as intentionally embarrassing. Before the Kings game, his former team, which he spoke out about firing the Mike Brown earlier this year.
It's a shame Mike Brown doesn't have a platform to stand up for his boy in the same manner.
Good Lord. Come on the pod, Mike Brown. We'll give you some time. But it's like, I think that.
So can I play a little bit of
like, like Josh goes on there with Vic and he's like, sometimes like wins and losses can mask issues. And that's something we were talking about on the podcast. Like, even during the
I mean, honestly, I said before
That's
the All-Star
fine.
break we should fire him. Like,
But
I said that
fine.
on the podcast.
Fire him then when you can
No,
do
100%.
something about it.
100%.
So don't come to us afterwards and be like, oh, I'm this basketball genius and I saw it even in the face of this win streak. Okay, then act on it if you're a basketball genius. If you truly believe it and you're some godsend to us, Josh, then act on it then. There is zero way that you're giving Adelman a real chance here to do something in the playoffs, or to make any meaningful schematic changes with 3 games left, and then you're prepping for the playoffs. You're putting him up as a sacrificial lamb, and then you're going to install whoever you want, and you embarrassed someone who has been foundational in this Nuggets culture and has been a huge part of developing the core that brought the only championship to this team. And I just think Josh Conkey, you to me as I think you came off as the biggest piece of shit here, and that's my take on it. I'm interested to hear. I think those are the three main parties, right? It
Yeah,
appears that they told Jokic early, but he hadn't pushed for it. He didn't,
yeah.
so I don't think there's any like player party here or
I think you made the right when we were texting about it, I think you made the right point that Jokic doesn't want to make this decision. Nobody wants to make this decision. And I think I'm happy that you're angry like on behalf of Michael Malone because I think it's easy as a fan to be like sort of cold-blooded in these situations, but like this is somebody's job and he spent a decade here and he did an unbelievable job and is undeniably a good basketball coach. Like,
yeah.
and I don't think Josh Kroenke would even say that he's a bad basketball coach. But I think I'm very happy that you spent all of that time giving him his flowers because he does deserve that. Like, and I think it's a sad day. Like it is sad. It's not I'm not rejoicing. Like I have not been the biggest Michael Malone fan, but this is not fun. Like I don't think nobody wants this to be the way that the first coach to win a championship. Like he was awesome on the parade. He made the Nuggets what they are in some ways. Like he had that like the
He was our
DNVR
guy in the
guys.
media where he
The
would be the
DNVR
guy who
guys
would
brought
say the
up
stuff that
the
would be
take
like,
the L
damn,
on the
that
way
fires me
out.
up, Mike.
He said the take the way L on the way out, and that was like sort of the start of this. Like the DNVR guys said that on their podcast that I listened to this afternoon, and I think it's a good point. Like he deserves a lot of credit for building that culture that got us to this point. I'm very happy you said all of that because what I think the conclusion that I've come to is I think there are two separate parts. So I'll first give you what I wish they would have done because I think it's more aligned with what you were just talking about. What I wish they would have done is I think you're right. This team is sort of like not doomed, and I'm not as gloomy as you are on the future of the team. We can get to that later, but I think are like they're probably not going to get out of the second round. If they get to the second round, that's a great just like it would be surprising. Like
Yeah.
that would be a good result, and I think everybody would come out of the season being a little bit hopeful for the future. I think what I wish they would have done is release today that you're not going to re-sign Calvin Booth. And instead of firing Michael Malone, you maybe give him that boost of confidence to say, like, hey, you won. Like, we're giving you the opportunity to win and prove that you won this power struggle. And, like, if he goes out and wins a championship, you're clearly not firing the guy. Like,
Right.
I don't think that's going to happen. But if you signal to him that, like, maybe we believe in you a little bit more, and you sit him down and you're like, hey, Michael, like, we will give you the power that you want if you prove to us that you can get the talent that we know is on this team. Like, I don't think the team sucks. I think they're playing unbelievably poorly right now, and they don't look motivated. So Michael Malone deserves a lot of blame for that. And I think you're not necessarily like, absolving him of all of that. You're just saying you wish they would have done it in a more respectful manner, which I agree with. And so to me, that's a way to respectfully do it and also potentially like juice the team a little bit and be like, hey, we're not messing around. Like everybody's job is on the line. This guy who drafted you, like apparently there's Calvin's guys and there's Michael's guys. Like this guy that drafted you is no longer here. So you're now Michael's guy. Figure it out or don't figure it out. But like we're probably going to get rid of you, Michael, if you lose in the first round. I mean, I think they fire him either way, but I think there's a way to like almost turn it on its head where it's potentially motivating. That's what I wish they would have done.
Like I said, I think
What I will say is that if you, let's say you have an 8% chance to win the title with Michael Malone, I think it's maybe lower than that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But let's say you have an 8% chance. If they believe you have a 10% chance, if you fire Michael Malone, you fire Michael Malone. Like, I know that that's crazy, but you do have the best player on the planet. And so if this somehow motivates the team and the bench starts to play a little bit better, somehow Jalen Pickett becomes inspired because he's like, I don't know, but like, it's that possibility is, I'm not saying it justifies it, but at the end of the day, like, if you're a Cronky and you're worth billions of dollars, I understand how you make that decision tree to that choice and say, you know what, like, I don't think we have a chance at all, but this might give us a little bit more of a chance. And I feel like we wasted one of the best seasons in NBA history by Nikola Jokic.
Which we did. We
I'd get a
fully
little desperate too. I'd get desperate too. What I think that the where your anger is really like well generated is like, do it earlier.
yeah.
Like, I texted, like, I was about to check Josh's drawers and see if he had a pair of balls. Like, I don't understand how you watch this team and do nothing.
No.
They're terrible. Like, they have not played well for a long time. And Nikola Jokic has been otherworldly. And I think Michael Malone is a very good coach. I think everybody in Nikola Jokic's orbit gets raised 3 levels by being around him.
Of course.
So everybody who's like freaking the fuck out, and I think you're right that it makes us look bad. This is the best head coaching job in the NBA. If you align with the GM on the direction that they want to take you have the best player in the world in his prime. Like, I think that there's going to be radical moves made, because I think if I was interviewing for this job, and maybe we can send this to the Nuggets as sort of my audition tape, but like, you have the best player in the world who has elevated everybody around him consistently. We need to get off of these sunk assets. Like, Zeke Naji is not going to be a rotation player for us. He can be fine for somebody else, and I recognize that I'm going to have to sell low on that asset and probably get less than I would want to, because I know that I kind of believe in Zeke Naji, but like, that's not the point. Like, let's just get something better in here right now. So let's sell off these decaying assets, get some people who can somewhat shoot and maybe play a little bit of defense, and we'll win another championship. Like, you have Nikola Jokic. It is an unbelievable job, and as long as he's here, it is a sought after destination, I think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right by default that it's the best job available. I think there's real struggles that come along with it. I think that you now have an ownership group that they're going to really try to make a swing here. And so they're going to be pretty involved, I think. And
yeah.
Josh
I mean,
thinks
they're building.
it was apparent in every interview Josh has given that Josh thinks Josh knows a lot about basketball. And you know who else did? Calvin Booth. And we saw where that got us. I just think if you look at it, like, if you really break it down, I thought that they did a really good job on the Zach Lowe podcast. He had Matt Moore on, and they did a really good job of like, this is not a like series of decisions that are like so catastrophically bad coaching wise or talent evaluation wise, where you're like, well, you lost Bruce Brown. Well, Bruce Brown made $13 million more. There was no way you were keeping him. Like, that's fine. Jeff Green
Yes, okay.
is not contributing to winning right now. And then you have the KCP, which is clearly a problem and was clearly the thing. But then you're locked into the second apron, and KCP has had a bad year in Orlando.
But here is the problem, though, Kyle. If I agree with you that independently, nothing is catastrophic. The catastrophic part is that they're not speaking.
Yep.
If you cannot communicate with the person in your workplace, if you could not speak to your direct, like, it's not even boss, but like,
Yeah.
if
No,
the marketing team is not speaking to the sales team, who's not speaking to the person who runs the creative, you're going to have a bad business. So, like, you have to have a line of communication there, and they hated each other. So, like, Michael Malone deserves some fault for that. Like, that is not a one-way street. So,
no.
I agree with you that, like, independently, they're not making terrible decisions. The fact that they're actively trying to harm each other in the building and creating that type of environment in the building is catastrophic. And if that is the true problem, it is that the vibe was terrible. Firing them both could very well just lighten everything and it be like a March Madness team where you get hot for 3 weeks. Like, how often do we talk about the new coach bump in the NFL? It happens all the time. That team comes out and plays hard
We're
because
gonna
they
find out.
hated the guy. And I'm not saying that everybody hated Michael Malone, but I think that vibe was terrible. And if I'm not saying I don't think that we're going to come out and win the championship, but I'm just saying that like that is a thing. Again, you don't do this with 4 games remaining. You do this with 40 games remaining. All of that being a caveat, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think so. I think let's just break it down person by person. So I think Malone, you have to attack him for young player development. I think you've seen guys leave here. Isaiah Hartenstein has gone on to get paid. Vando, we've seen him up close and personal multiple times. He's gone on to be great.
Malik Beasley's
Beasley has
probably
had
going
a
to
long
win
career.
sixth.
Malik Beasley, I'm not confident is like a
He's
winning basketball player,
he's
but
going to win Sixth Man of the Year, but
is
whatever.
yeah. No, I
Potentially.
mean this year has been like the most veteran like
I
presence I
mean,
feel
he's
like he's
also
had.
shooting 40% from three. He's got a
But
flamethrower right now.
yeah,
But
let's also not
we've seen
forget
it. We've seen it.
that
And he got caught with all those guns and drugs. So I'm glad
I've
we got rid
also
of him.
seen
But
him
yeah,
get sat down in playoff series because they were like, he plays no defense.
yeah.
So I think the young guy development thing, but that's where like there's this disconnect, right? Because on the one hand, the Nuggets strategy seemed to kind of be post championship like we need cost controlled assets under this new CBA and we need them ready to go because we want them as close to the timeline as possible. That's the justification for Christian, which has worked out great. Um, that's the justification for Jalen Pickett for Hunter Tyson, which has not worked out as great. I mean, listen, Pickett, God bless him, but he is fucking terrible. Like, he is so goddamn bad at everything on the basketball floor that it physically upsets me to watch him play, to watch him just shit himself on the floor,
Okay.
and then
Yes.
also to be small and to just get attacked on the defensive end.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you have to be good at something. Like,
Guards
and
take
I
a
just have
long
no
time to
idea what he's good
develop.
at.
We talk about this all the time. Guards take a long time to develop, but you also have something to develop. Like, you have to have something that you see early on that's like, oh, if that's better, like this and this and this. It's hard to identify those things with Pickett right now. So I'm certainly not gonna sit here and stand for Jalen Pickett.
Right.
But
I'm just saying, like, so there's this connection where it seemed like they were almost trying to cover a Mike Malone flaw, where they're like, hey, we're going to
he
draft
fell
more
into a
like
trap.
professional guys. But
He
then
fell
you look at the difference in our athleticism to the average NBA team, And it is fucking startling where you're like, hold on, these guys are stupid and they fucking can't jump. Like, we can't get, like, we are 30th in the league with the tied for second highest rebounder on our team in defensive rebounding.
Yeah,
We
it's been
couldn't
so
do it to
bad.
save our goddamn life. Listen, we're going to give up an open three or a layup,
Yeah.
but if you miss it,
And
no
no worries.
worries, dog. You will get
You'll get
another
another one.
opportunity out
Yeah,
there.
maybe
And
one
don't
more.
worry, we are going to be leaking out so you can kick it right out for a walk-in three, right like you're on the
Everybody's
fast break.
assuming Jokic is going to get the ball and then throw them one of those touchdown passes
Oh my
every single
God.
time. That's
So,
how we rebound the ball. It's like,
yeah,
oh, don't worry about it. Big fella's
yeah,
got it. I'll
I,
run down the floor and get open. Nicola,
yeah,
Nicola,
yeah,
I'm open. Oh shit. Oh fuck, they
yeah,
got two more shots while I was down
yeah.
here. Oh no.
So I think like the like we just have a lot of wastes of space on our team. Like, there's no time where I've been like, my God, like maybe we just bring in Hunter for a bit of juice.
No, but
Hey,
this is
maybe
what
we
I
bring
mean.
in PJ Hall for a little bit of juice.
If you have a
Oh,
healthy
Jalen for a little
relationship,
juice.
if you have a
DeAndre.
health
We have zeros, Ryan, at five
if
of
you
our
have
spots.
if you have a healthy relationship, you can compromise. Like they're actively trying to sabotage each other.
I'm just
That's what
saying,
this is.
if I'm Mike Malone, it would hurt my feelings if you draft
Michael,
everyone who sucks at
don't call him
basketball.
Mike after he gets fired, man. It's Michael Malone.
Mr. Malone,
He's going to
I
get
would,
angry and not come on the podcast now.
yeah,
We'd love to have you, Michael.
yeah,
If you want to listen,
get some things
we'll
out.
talk about literally whatever you want to talk
Yeah,
about.
dude.
If you want to talk about your daughter's volleyball and how that's gone, we'd love to chat with you about
Yeah, dude. But literally, like at a certain point, like there are flaws, but I also just think the talent ceiling of this team, like especially with no Murray and there's been no Gordon for long stretches, is so low that like I watched parts of that Spurs game because I hate myself. And I was literally for the first 5 minutes, I was like, I don't know if we're gonna score. Like, I was like, I really don't know if we're gonna score in this whole quarter. I don't see how it's gonna happen. I know it's an NBA game and I know we will, but I don't see how. Like, it was just the worst offense, the worst stuff. And these guys they just suck. And
Yeah, but
so part of that is,
we're trying to run the same offense no matter who's on the floor though, Kyle. Like we're
yeah,
trying to run the same shit and that's Michael Malone. Like
the adjustments.
you can't put these rookies in that situation where they're
Yeah,
trying to run a horns action on a high pick and roll that Jokic throws behind the back, no look fucking passes to Aaron Gordon in the dunker spot. Like you can't do the same thing with the backups as you do with the starters. And
yeah.
I
So,
like I agree with you that everybody sucks, but you also can't put players that suck in worse positions. Like
yeah. No, I agree with that. So I think that Malone, we've talked about it since the bubble. I mean, the reason we were down 3-1 in a lot of those series is Malone is very slow to change things and make adjustments. In general, he was a pretty slow to move guy on the adjustments. I think nowhere has that been more apparent than defensively. Um, I'm of the opinion, and this is not a take I've shared on the show, where I remember the quote from, I want to say maybe it was 5 years ago, where a Nuggets coach was laughing when someone was like, Jokic is bad if he gets switched in a pick and roll. And he's like, yeah, no shit, but we're not going to let him get switched in a pick and roll. And I'm of the opinion that Nikola Jokic near the ball on defense is as good as it gets for us. And
yeah,
so if that means that we need to switch more things because our guards are not good enough. Like KCP covered some things up by getting hands in, getting stuff to make those passes over the top to those bigs a little bit more difficult. And right now they're not. And so I think that Malone needed to make the adjustment of saying, listen, Jokic, we're going to switch you. Like, we'll let teams get this switch and we're going to help and we're going to, do all of that. But like Jokic's hands and him out on the perimeter, it is not a free blow by. It is not a free thing anymore. And whereas,
especially in the playoffs, like
especially
when
with
you're,
Gordon
yeah,
and MPJ and Watson and those guys flying in for rim protection.
you have
So I
long,
think,
yeah.
that's where
You
you heard
literally
some
just
things of guys.
it's crazy to your last point about athleticism that when you were naming all the athletes on our team, you named MPJ, who literally has like 19 back surgeries
Oh,
and plays with a brace that nobody has ever physically played in the NBA with.
yeah,
And you're not wrong. Like he's been athletic this year, but he shouldn't be like your third most athletic
yeah,
guy on the fucking floor. It's crazy.
yeah. I mean,
Sorry,
you
I
just
interrupted.
look at teams, and you're like even the Bucks, right? Who you can look at their thing and you can say, okay, that's very similar to the Nuggets. Their star guard has gone down. He's probably not coming back for the playoffs. And they are able to beat the Timberwolves tonight, um, in no small part because they have Kevin Porter Jr. And they took a swing on a guy and they bet on athleticism and they bet on culture and work ethic and all of that kind of stuff, being a part of who they are. And so, like, we don't have any swing guys. So if you look at our roster, Saric has been unplayable. DeAndre Jordan is not playable in a playoff. Like, he's not a part of a championship
Spot
thing.
minutes.
Right.
Spot minutes.
Yeah, you want him to eat some minutes in the regular season, and he's been honestly he's
I
overachieved
even
that.
I honestly think
Then you have
depending on the
Hall,
series, hold on though. With DeAndre, if you play like the Rockets with that double big, like he's gonna play.
of course.
Because it just depends on the matchup. Because if
I'm
they're
just
going to put
saying.
out a shitty backup center for 6 minutes, we'll also put out a shitty
I'm just
backup center for
saying.
6 minutes.
I would rather have the Rockets backup center than ours in that scenario, right? Like I'd rather have Steven Adams than DeAndre.
I'll ride with DJ till the end, baby.
Yeah,
Me
I
and
mean,
DJ will go down on this ship together. I swear to God.
yeah, we sure will. Uh, but then you have like PJ Hall. You have um like uh Hunter Tyson. Like you just can't have that many guys that I just go into every game and I go, honestly, if they got 2 points, that'd be two more than I'm expecting. Right?
But
Like,
again, like our 8 man rotation, I actually think we're kind of like 1.5 guys away. Like for a playoff run, I don't think we're as you're right, but you're also naming like the eighth and ninth and 10th men on the
I'm just saying I can name five guys that I can say, and I'm not gonna name Russell Westbrook,
no.
uh whose playoff record has not been great, right? Um,
No. We
but
love
like
we love Russell's effort, and I will defend Russell against some of this slander that's coming from Nuggets fans right now. Like
Nuggets.
it's crazy, man. We got to talk about this.
Yes,
Like
okay.
it,
Let's divert momentarily. Okay.
yeah.
The Timberwolves game. Here's my take. And I have not heard any other podcast or any other person have this take. Listen, it was absolutely the right play to run the fast break with Christian and Russ. There was so
Yeah.
much time left. There's no way that you are going to run it down to like 4 or 5 seconds before you get fouled.
No.
We just watched Russ miss free throws at the other end. You are only up 1 point. It is a different game to me if you are up two and Jokic made both of his free throws. Of course, you take the foul there. You only have to make one out of two, and you're making it a 3 point game, which functionally is really hard because you can foul at any time off the inbounds, make them take a two, and they've got to foul you again, right? How, like, there's a difference to me between people being like, this is the dumbest decision by Russell Westbrook. No, he just bricked a layup in a
Yeah.
double overtime game that we're asking someone who's a million years old to go up against a way younger and more athletic guy at the rim. Back in the day, Russell Westbrook would have cocked that back and thrown that through the rim along with the defender, and then he would have teabagged him at center court. He doesn't have that anymore, and so he bricked the layup. That's an execution problem. It's not a decision-making problem. And if you want to get into execution problems, then there's been a fucking bunch of them in that game, right? We
He
drew up
has his
a great
classic
out of bounds play,
turnovers. Yeah.
and Jokic was tired, and so he missed the three. It went halfway down, and it went out. If we go up 4 there, that game's over too. Like to me, so many Nuggets fans make the mistake of saying the result wasn't what I wanted, so the process must have been stupid. It's like,
Yeah.
no. There's plenty of times where the process is stupid with this team. You don't have to make them up. And
It was
if
also an
I told
awesome
you at the
game.
beginning of this season that Russell Westbrook was going to score 15 fucking points a game, you'd have said, I'll start camping out for the parade right the fuck now. We're about to beat the shit out of everybody, right?
He's way overachieved.
Spectacularly overachieved.
I honestly think I'm gonna buy whatever game we get eliminated in. I'm gonna go down to Altitude Authentics and I'm gonna buy a Russell Westbrook jersey
It's been
because
great, dude.
he has it doesn't like the turnovers are frustrating, but that like I was going to school at the University of Oklahoma when it was the old school Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
There are Oklahoman articles that could be changed to Denver Post articles now, written then. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? Give the ball to Kevin Durant. He's awesome. Like, why are you throwing it to the other team in crunch time? It's always been Russell Westbrook, but he's also always given you all of these other intangible things, the energy, he's like Allen Iverson. He will never not play hard. And sometimes that is going to be very, very frustrating. And sometimes it's going to be awesome. And
Yep.
I think that the awesome has far outweighed the the shitty
Yeah.
or the not awesome. And
Yeah. No,
it's
100%. And
I think everybody needs to relax.
100%. And I also think that the other thing is that a thing that Denver Nuggets fans especially seem to struggle with is they struggled with it with Will Barton too, where they would go, Will is jacking shots. And I'm like, yeah, because everyone else on the team is pooping themselves and is refusing to take them. And Will is like, no problem, dog. Thrill's got it. And he is trying to be a good teammate. Like, that's the way he knows how, right? Like, he is going to go get a bucket and make something happen. Russ is out there and he's like, I need to force a pass right now because that's Jalen fucking Pickett over there. We need to make something happen, right?
Yeah.
Like early in the season when he was comfortable, remember those fucking brilliant and like just easy dump down dimes to Jokic, and we were like, man, he's getting him some pretty easy ones. Like,
well, he was running with the ones. He can't run with the twos.
Playing in a under
Don't play
control,
him.
no pressure, like just, hey man, like we're rolling, we're playing good. Russ is going to give you good things, and he's not going to force. Like,
no. He's bought into the role. It's the first time in his veteran career where, like, this is the best version of Russell Westbrook we've seen in 4 or 5 years.
100%.
Like, it has been a revelation. He still doesn't. He will occasionally even set a ball screen.
Yeah,
that never happened in Houston. I guarantee you, he never set one ball screen in Houston. I don't know how to quickly Google that, but there's no fucking way it happened.
Listen, we absolutely love Nikola Jokic, and you were not overstating or being hyperbolic when you said this is the greatest regular season we've ever seen in the NBA by a player. Just look at any statistic measurement, and then also consider the supporting cast that we've talked about, right? However,
These are
Jokic
fucking G
absolutely
leaguers, Kyle. This man is unbelievable. I
he
with the
will
whole
he will absolutely throw the ball to the other team sometimes because he's trying
yeah.
something. And so you cannot both appreciate the greatness of Jokic, but just never criticize the fact that sometimes this man will just throw the ball to the other team because he's trying to put it behind their ear. Like
I always
Russ does that too sometimes, and he doesn't give you 30, 15 and
yeah.
13. So I'm not saying he should get the same leeway, but I'm saying to pretend like it doesn't happen for anyone else. And it's just the rest of this team is out here in the fucking triple threat and fucking John Wooden wet dream is delusional. Okay.
Most other people are panic passing it back to Jokic. Russell Westbrook is the only person on the floor sometimes who's like, no, I can do something else. Let me find somebody else. Everybody else is like, I wasn't wide open when I got the
Yeah.
ball. And in Christian Brown's case, I don't feel comfortable taking this three. So I'll just pass it back to Jokic and I'll cut and I'll probably get a dunk. Like, I don't know. That sounds good.
Yeah. So I think the Malone flaws. Let's get back to that. This Russell Westbrook was a necessary one. You're correct. That had been building in me as well. When people were like, I was seeing people on BlueSky. We appreciate all the engagement, but like people would just be like, I don't know, Russell's really pissing me off.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, he couldn't carry a no Jamal Murray, no Aaron Gordon.
Oh, this 38-year-old isn't
Yeah,
going to
playing on a
literally carry
back-to-back
us.
against the Spurs, he missed some threes. Ah, yeah, me too. I
Oh,
too am outraged. Shut the
yeah.
fuck up.
I'm gonna send him
Um,
a mean DM. I thought about sending him a nice one.
oh my god,
Just
yeah, dude.
just to see like what would happen.
Hey,
Like,
God,
hey man, I'm a
it's been
season ticket
awesome,
holder.
and
Been
it's
been
been
watching a
great.
lot of games. Really appreciate you. I
Yeah,
hope I recognize we're all fucking assholes out here right now, but like there are smart people who are watching the
yeah,
games who
and
appreciate what you
appreciate
do.
what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think the GM thing is I guess I've kind of highlighted. I think that Booth is pretty stubborn. I think that Booth was absolutely meddlesome. Um, and I think that that is just from a workplace standpoint, you just can't come in as the brand new guy to the winningest coach in history and be like, hey, you need to play this guy. Like, no, 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 no. You go and you approach it in a like, hey, Mike, hey, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So we're getting you what you need here. I'm curious what's going on. What are we not seeing from Strother that's keeping him kind of out of the rotation? Here's kind of the role I had thought of him for. I know you were kind of on board with that. What's kind of keeping him out of that, right? Like you have to approach it with some humility and understand like you're new to this, right? Like this guy, if you come in and are like, well, I'm the boy genius. He's going to be like, go eat another cheeseburger, you fat piece of shit. All right. Like, and he's not wrong. Like, I think he approached it in a way that was very cocky. Lowe talked about how, like, he was like trying to talk about schematic things that, like, and if I were Mike Malone, I'd be like, yeah, shut the fuck up.
Michael. Good Lord. His name is
Michael,
Michael Malone, Kyle. He's never going to come on the podcast if we
Mr.
don't.
Malone. Um,
No, I think it's
so
the
for
the
me, Booth,
ego the
it's
ego
not that he hit
from
so bad, and I think he was handcuffed by ownership as far as signings. It's not that it's that his overall attitude.
how
We
much
talked
do you
about it
believe
coming into
that?
this year, where it's like he's
How
not
much hold
quite
on.
the smug of Sean Payton, but he's close.
How much do you believe that he was hamstrung by ownership?
A
Because
lot.
I actually think that there's a little conspiracy Ryan in me that thinks he was downplaying the options of free agency because he was trying to force Michael Malone to play the guys that he wants him to play. He wanted him to play Pickett so bad that he was
Well,
not
we've seen
willing
it.
to explore things that were really going to change the team. I mean, to me, Booth was gone no matter fucking what. Like he had very well proven that he was not up to the job of building a roster around Nikola Jokic. It just that's the case. And he doesn't necessarily deserve blame for the Jamal Murray or the Michael Porter Jr. max contracts, but he, like everything else, is his making, and that shit sucks.
And
So,
he
uh,
made it loudly. He was
yeah,
in the kitchen. He was like, "Wait till you see this shit pie I've whipped up over
yeah,
here." Oh
and
my god!
Nuggets fans are in love with Peyton Watson. He's our best asset right now. I'd trade his ass immediately. Let's see what some dumbass Orlando Magic team is willing to give us for Peyton Watson. Like we need to start building the asset cupboard to really take a swing at somebody, and because we're one pretty good shooter away from being a championship team, I think. And I think that is the last real point from my end is like this shows a sense of urgency from the Cronkies that we hadn't seen. And to me, like while I agree with you, I really wish they would have waited until after the season to fire Michael Malone. Them sending a message and firing Calvin Booth right now would not have been a crazy thing to me because I think it shows to people that you care. It shows to Nikola Jokic that you care, and I it didn't necessarily seem like anybody cared, including the players in the last 4 games. Like the vibe has been terrible. So you get to a point, and I don't know.
See, I didn't pick up like a. I mean, I definitely did not pick up a good vibe. That's correct. When Mr. Nugget Aaron Gordon is seen arguing loudly with Peyton Watson on the bench, who is also seemingly a pretty chill guy most of the time. Yeah, the vibes are bad. But to me, it felt like a team that was like trying to turn it on and then like realize they don't have it. Right. And it's like, I think Jokic said it in a press conference where he was like, I don't believe in like turning it on. Like, I think
You
you are
have
who
it
you
or you
are.
don't. Yeah.
Like, and right now we don't because we haven't like we clearly did not buy in to the work necessary to fix defensive rotations, or we just didn't buy into the scheme. I think there were some flaws with the scheme. Like I said, I think we tried to protect Jokic too much on the ball and instead put him off the ball too much. And I think that was to the detriment of the team. I
He's
think
never going to
that,
be a great paint protector. Like you can't really put him in that position. To your point, like, and I don't think I think if I was Michael Malone right now, I would be saying, Kyle, I was going to do that in the playoffs, but I can't do that for 72 games because it's too much energy for Jokic. Like, I
100%,
agree
you
with you,
can't.
but like,
Yeah.
it's again, like you have to have that level of communication with the people around you to be like,
And
hey,
that's where
this
I
is what
would
we're going to
say
do. Like,
to Mike Malone, I would say perfect. However, he also doesn't have the energy to do that for the whole playoffs. With what we're asking him to do on offense,
yeah.
we need to figure out how to create some easy shots that are independent of asking Jokic to do superhuman things or touch the ball every time. Like the fact that our solution in the beginning of the year appeared to just be running ISO ball for Murray or Porter. And then we were like, see, that doesn't work. And you're like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't
Yep.
work. It
Yep.
also doesn't mean that you like have to play only through Jokic on offense to get a good shot. Like
Yep.
Porter is a 7 foot guy with an unbelievable 3-point shot. He doesn't have it right now for whatever godforsaken reason. But like that's that Plus, if your two of your three max players can't just run a pick and roll together and have it be somewhat dangerous, there's something wrong with that. When Jokic is having the best 3-point shooting year of his career, where it's like, hey, we're going to take a rim protector out. We're going to have another 6'11 guy set a screen and be rolling downhill while we have our best 3-point shooter with the ball. And we have Jokic over there, by the way, who's going to be making secondary decisions. Like, that lack of development, that lack of creativity, I think is something that I want to see in the next coach, to where he's going to push and not just kind of rely on the fact that, I mean, you can get 120 points a game by having Nikola Jokic on your team.
Yes.
I think we've seen that for the past 5 years, more or less. Like, just you can put any NBA player and some non-NBA players in the rotation.
You can
And
put Facu Campazzo,
along with
Gary Harris.
Oh man,
Like,
I mean,
that
Gary Harris
team
was at
took,
least a good NBA player, not at the tail end because of injuries, but like we had
but that
Facu,
team took a game off of the championship Warriors.
yeah, Austin Rivers.
Yeah.
Like, no,
He
we
never
were,
played again.
no,
Like, that's what I mean in that, like, I I don't think I think Calvin Booth was trying to hit home runs all the time. And we just need doubles. Like, we
See, I
need
just think he fundamentally. I don't think he was trying to hit home runs, because it wasn't like we were taking bowls anymore, or who was it?
no,
RJ
I
Hampton
mean,
was here, but like
I
he was
mo
trying to
hold
take like really smart guys and
yeah,
limiting. But I'm like, no, 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 no. You already have the
high
smartest
upside.
guy who's going to
Yeah.
have the ball in his hands all the time. Give him some dummies.
Yeah.
Like,
Give him
give
Bones
him
Highland and see if he can make him good.
Bro, give him some maroons. As if that 3-point shot looks good and that 40 inch vert is looking fine, come aboard, my friend.
I I want whoever. I think that it's going to be a job that people want, because I think the idea of building around Nikola Jokic is very fun for basketball people, because he allows you to be so creative in your roster. And I think that if you can attract the right mind, I think it's amazing. We have to hire a GM first, and then that GM and the head coach have to be on the same page. And that is the key, and we're trusting the Cronkies to do that. So,
Yep. So I think this is a good place to, well, I guess here before I go into if you have any takes on who you want for a GM coach thing
Christ.
here. What do you predict happens tomorrow night in Sacramento?
I think we beat the hell out of them.
They're coming in as hot can be. We are going as slumped can be.
Do
There's
we
going to be
know
no Jamal.
no
Zach
Jamal?
LaVine
Yeah.
traditionally beats the unholy hell out of us. Everything screams Kings, right?
Man,
And you're
what's the
exactly right
line?
that typically a new coach and typically that goes that way. I think we are going to know very quickly what this looks like.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
because, especially Jokic, like if we see a passive Jokic coming out,
Yeah,
like
it's over.
we are in trouble,
Yeah,
like with a capital T, buddy. Um,
I'm looking. Let's see. Oh boy, do you want to guess what Vegas thinks?
Vegas has it at a 4-point Kings favorite.
Favorite?
Yeah.
Oh no, Nuggets are -3.
Oh, Jesus. We shouldn't be favored against anyone right now.
Wow, you really don't believe,
No, we lost to the
dude?
Bulls.
Jokic's point line is absurd. Like, it's got to be one of the most square bets in all of sports, because they really just can't put it high enough. It's 32 right now at -120. And like, yeah, of course, if he plays hard for like 15 minutes, he's probably going to score 32 points. But like, you can't guarantee that that's going to be his reaction to Michael Malone getting fired, uh, especially in the way that he was. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
I would
wouldn't touch
not
that.
have wanted to be the one who called Nikola Jokic on the off day before they traveled to Sacramento this morning that they were going to fire Michael Malone.
No,
Yeah.
it's the dumbest thing in the world. But okay. So I kind of I kind of think that this I kind of think this makes it worse. I think it's a thing where we don't respond
Oh
um,
no.
to this.
Do you? Well, let me get your thought on this. Do you think that Jamal's coming back,
No,
like at all?
no,
Okay. Well, then I agree. Like, uh,
no.
I just don't think
Think
there's enough talent without
I
Jamal.
think the Malone thing where he was like, yeah, hopefully for the first game of the playoff, like that's bad. And especially just for like inflammation, but then they're like, it's connected to, it's causing some other problems. I'm like, that's knee, that's all that stuff. I've seen all of this. No, thank you. Um,
He
hard
shouldn't
pass.
come back unless he's healthy.
Right. So yeah, I think that this, but I'm just saying, like, I think that the damage is done. Where like now you're almost going to be forced, to your point, to get rid of some people because some relationships have been affected within that locker room.
Do you think Jamal and Malone were tight though?
Oh, I don't think any of the big three. I think Michael Porter is probably unaware that Mike Malone was the coach. Like, I think he's like, I've never had him on the podcast. Like, who is that dude? Do you think he'd come on?
That little short white kid is in charge.
Oh my god. Like, dude, I mean, I'm a curious guy. I'd love to have learned from him eventually.
Maybe he'll come on the podcast.
Yeah. So like I don't think that no, I don't think big 3. I more think like I think some of these young guys have been
Oh, they're
grown
Peyton
pretty
Watson.
resented within the
What can
locker
we get?
room.
What can we get for Peyton Watson, Zeke Najee, Jalen Pickett, and a second round pick?
I think a pile of shit. Um
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to take it. So,
yeah. But
and you know what I'm kind of excited about, and I think Nuggets fans who are a little future oriented, Deron Holmes. Like, I was sort of excited to see what he looked like, and I think he's probably going to play in summer league. And so,
please
if
God no. Not again.
Kyle, Jesus, uh, if I hope that all he did while that Achilles was healing was shoot threes, because if for
He's
some
been really active on
godforsaken,
the bench every time I've seen him. Like he
I
really looks
love
like
him
he's
on the
sitting next
bench,
to a guy and like engaged,
and the guys seem
trying
to
to
like
get
him.
like
The guys seem to
no.
like him, and he's been practicing, and it seems like they like him the more that he practices. So I'm like, maybe this kid's got something because he's a great backup for AG. Like he
Here's
has that potential to give you 15 spot minutes where it's big guy. Like he's a little bit, he could play five. He's got like a little bit of that Draymond who'll get into you. I don't know. It's exciting.
um yeah,
I just
I
compared him to
think
Draymond Green, so
for
that
yeah,
can't blow up in my face.
I think if he's Draymond, I really hope he's been practicing those threes a lot. Um
Yeah, yeah.
but
And free throws. Good
yeah,
Lord, Draymond. Shoot those underhand.
yeah.
Like some of these
And
guys have got to go underhand.
getting warned by the official and then elbowing the guy in the head. That's what I also hope he's been working on.
I,
But I think the missing piece for this team is that the Christian and AG are a little redundant. Like AG is obviously bigger, but like they're both big physical guys, and we've seen like Christian has gotten better at navigating screens. Like in the beginning of the year, we joked like he just run into him, like, and then be like, "God damn it, he shot a 3 again!" Like we'd be like, "Yeah, dude, he's gonna keep doing that if you
Yeah.
keep running into it." Um, but
It was
like,
like he was expecting a foul. Like,
yeah,
oh, I'll
like
just
we
run
need,
through his chest,
yeah,
and then they'll call an offensive. Like, no, no, no,
yeah,
that's the legal screen, and they're just gonna
yeah, it's not
let
gonna
the
work.
play continue, and that guy's gonna shoot a three
Yeah.
again.
But I think we need like a quick guard, like defender, to
Yeah,
where like we don't need necessarily the like length. We need the guy who's like going to navigate the screens and really be a defense first guy for us off the ball. Somebody I'd be trying to go after um, is like Thibault for the Blazers. Like
huh,
like
I'd
can't
love
shoot,
Thibault.
and we don't care. Like it's
Yeah,
one of those where it's like, no, 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 no. Like we've made it clear we run the least efficient 3-point shooting offense, and like we score 130. Like
yeah.
it's fine. We need you to just be an absolute menace. Like guys like that people give up on. I think those are good looks. Like Davion Mitchell types, feisty. Like get under it guards. Um, but I think the time has come here. Well, I guess, do you want to make a prediction for the final three? We've got Kings, Rockets, Grizzlies.
Jesus Christ. Uh,
Presumably, with the Lakers losing tonight, I don't think the Rockets will be playing for anything. I don't think the Lakers can catch them anymore. Um,
I am gonna say we go fuck it 3-0.
1 and 2.
I'm kind of, if you want my full prediction right now, April 11th, 11:07 p.m. Mountain Time. I think that we are going to lose in the Western Conference Finals.
You are the most optimistic man I know.
I think Jokic is going to drop I think he's going to have a historic postseason and just be
I,
the angriest human being alive.
I I think he's about to see a lot of what the Lakers threw at him, and teams
People
just have.
can't do that though. You can't do that.
You sure can, especially when you watch how our team plays 4-on-3. You sure can,
Yeah.
and
I don't know.
I think it's going to be a very frustrating watch. But
I'm
um,
prepared for that. I certainly am prepared for that,
yeah,
but I'm choosing to believe the opposite.
I'm not prepared for us to make it to the Western Conference Finals. I will
No,
say
I'm
that
I'm
at
prepared for
11:08,
you to.
I am. I will. Uh, I don't know what I'll do, but what we can come up with something funny for me to do on the podcast, if you're right, and I'll do it with joy in my heart, clearly. Um, but um, the last
Are you
topic.
prepared for Jokic to average 45, 20, and 15 through the playoffs?
No, 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 no. If Jokic does that, we're going to the finals. Listen, like you can't do that. Not go to the finals.
Is anything out of his reach? What we were gonna do for the podcast this week, just to let listeners in who have made it this far, which congratulations. Uh, for the
We wanted to do like a Jokic
Yeah,
accomplishment.
just literally let's talk about Jokic because the season was over and I was depressed and I was like, this is such bullshit. Like, why should I be so sad about this when we kind of knew it was going to happen, right? Like, neither of us are super surprised that we're sort of underperforming right now. I was more optimistic than you, but this was like to me a 60% outcome likelihood, right? Like that
Right.
we're sort of bounced in the first or the second round and it's sort of it's really disappointing when it happens and um but yeah, it's a wild ride.
Yeah. Okay. Final thing to close out on. Do you have any hot takes as far as GMs or coaches you would target? I saw the list, and let me tell you, it made me feel even worse that we just shit
Uh,
on the legacy of Michael Malone. They were like,
what
we
did the
could
list
get
say?
Sam Cassell. I'm
No,
like,
no.
we sure could. That's an option. We could get Mike Brown. Oh, good, 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 dude, good. Like, there's no one out there that is
What about
realistically
Bud?
been floated that has been like, I'm like, ooh, that's an inspiring choice. What'd you say?
Bud Budenholzer?
Uh, I think Bud would help with the 3-point shooting for sure. Um, but I think you're
One with
running
Milwaukee.
into a guy. If you thought that Mike Malone adjusted slowly in the playoffs, we have seen Budenholzer adjustments,
Yeah.
and his
I
adjustment
think
is just like,
I think
why
his
don't we keep doing
scheme.
the same thing?
Yeah, to me, it's
Budenholzer would at
honestly
least be exciting as far as I think he's a really smart offensive mind. And so I'm like, oh, that would be cool to watch for a regular season where like there would be some games where we'd just be like, holy shit. Like,
credit to friend of the pod, Matt, but I'm kind of in love with the idea of Steve Nash because I think he could. Was that you?
yeah, he brought up that we interviewed Becky Hammond the first
Oh,
time.
I don't.
That's where I thought you
Oh,
were going to talk about. No, I brought up Steve Nash. I don't know. I can't remember. Like, I remember at the time he coached Brooklyn, he was like his back was
yeah,
bad
yeah.
and he wanted to be
He's got
closer to his
health and
kids.
his family, and like
Yeah,
he's
so
definitely got
that
a
was at
lot
the
of stuff
time.
going
So I have
on.
no idea if he wants to, but Nash
I
would excite me.
Me neither. But if we're if we're throwing out hypothetical, that is the one that I've. That's the only one when I think about what could happen. Like the Miami Heat situation is a little weird right now. I don't know why Spoelstra would want to leave, but like I'd love that. Um,
Dude, if
they
Spoelstra wants to leave the Miami Heat, that would be the best thing that's ever happened to us, man. That would be, I mean, Spo is,
like, what if the Clippers suck and Kawhi sits out for a series and Ty Lue's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this anymore. I want to go coach Nikola Jokic, who always plays and is awesome.
yeah,
Like, I think that I want to shoot for the stars. Like,
yeah,
I am not settling. And honestly, if it means that we have to hire a coach first, if we get a better sampling of coaches by saying like, hey, you can help us find the GM who can build the team that you want to coach, then let's do it. If you need to say that to Eric Spoelstra and then pay him a fat Arsenal sized paycheck, fucking do it. Like, this is the only time, realistically, as a small market, that you're ever going to need to spend like this. Like, it is an honor to spend that money. So do it.
100%. I think, um, I think that coaching in this really restrictive CBA also just matters a lot more
Way more.
than, but this is
You have to
100%. I've
maximize
said
talent.
some things about Mr. Kroenke. I've said something, and listen, if we are back here and they are selling me on like oh my God, we got Adelman is coming in. Like, and you know what? We found this guy you never heard of to be the GM. Like, I'm gonna be so pissed. Like,
So I will
you
say,
lost a coach who is basically, I think Lowe said it best, where he was like, Mike Malone is kind of the benchmark for good. Like,
mhm,
he's like, you just have to be careful when you get rid of Mike Malone because like
Michael.
you can't like say you can't be positive that you're going to get a better coach.
No, I think
Whereas, so
it's
like you better swing. To your point, you got to swing and you got to be willing to spend that money. And if you're
I,
saying, "Oh, we are making a full attempt to win with Nikola Jokic," this is where you show it right here.
I will say that to my previous point of potentially hiring a GM first, if you find somebody who's got like a Sam Presti esque mind and they find Mark Daigneault somewhere in a like where I don't know where Mark Daigneault came out of, but that guy can coach a fucking basketball game. So like I'm not against hiring somebody that and Thunder fans were not necessarily happy when that happened, like because he was a nobody. Nobody really understood what he but he's been awesome for them. So I think I'm not opposed to that, but it has the process to get to that point has to be really clean if you're going to take a big swing in that direction where you're going to sell me somebody I've never really heard of.
I'm just
And
going to tell you, I'm going to be.
and you better have consulted Nikola Jokic if we're signing it.
Yep,
Like
I'm just going to.
whoever the coach is needs to talk to Nikola.
And to your point, I may be one of those dumb fans who like you look back on it and you're like, dude, Kyle, this guy was a genius. Like, what a great hire. Like, and I'm more than happy to be wrong, but I just think you can't go from saying like, oh, we felt the urgency, we needed to do this right now to shit on this guy's legacy in order to hire this young coach that no one heard of that would have been available at any time, right? Like, to me, I'll just be wrong on that, and that's what I'll do.
To your point, like I guess I was thinking of it outside of the context of how it happened. Like that will never be forgiven because I don't think that the timing matters. Like you can be doing all of the behind the scenes work of potentially firing Michael Malone and finding his replacement while the playoffs are going on and then fire him with dignity in the summer because
Yeah,
you're not finding somebody in the next 3 weeks realistically. Like that's how long I mean, Josh in the fucking interview says like, "Oh well, I think we were headed for an early playoff exit." It's like, yeah, you
yeah,
still are, buddy. Like,
yeah.
I don't think this is probably gonna like. Again, I'm thinking of this in terms of like maybe this gives you 2% more chance to get to the Western Conference Finals instead of 8%, you have 10%. So it's
When do you think it gets leaked by Malone that Booth was forcing him to start Jalen Pickett these last few games? Because there's no other explanation for it. Like, especially, I thought like for a while that I was like, oh, okay, like he's trying to maintain more of a playoff rotation and let Westbrook get comfortable with the bench. But then when he was like, yeah, maybe he'll be back, I'm like, well, then maybe we should be trying to win these games and actually put a competent point guard in the lineup with Russell Westbrook, who's had great chemistry with Jokic, and like
I think Michael Malone
bring it
might
off the
be
bench.
too
Like,
professional to say any of that publicly. And Michael Malone probably also wants another coaching job, so he
yeah, but
realistically won't really
that
shit on
was
us on the way
something
out.
weird,
But
right? Like,
yeah, no, if you gave, I would love to give him truth serum and just hear what happened. Like both of them,
yeah,
honestly. Like I would love to just pepper them with questions and be like, so Calvin, did you actively try not to sign anybody good this offseason so that you would have to play the shitty players that you drafted that you somehow still believe in? Michael, did you actively shit on Jalen Pickett openly in front of the team in a
oh,
summer league practice because you were making fun of the attributes that Calvin Booth complimented in your draft announcement? Oh, you did? Oh, okay. That's interesting. Why'd you do that? Did you
yeah.
think that was going to improve his confidence? Like, did you think that was going to make everybody on the team feel super comfortable in their role? Like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, Michael, did you never speak to the GM? Oh, you guys didn't. Oh, interesting. How long has that been going on? Oh, 2 years. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Cool. glad that there was no communication between the person doing the drafting and the person playing the players. That seems really healthy.
Yeah. Like I said, tomorrow is going to be a very interesting game. And I think it's
I'm so
going to
glad
be
we don't have to
interesting to
go.
hear from the players afterwards and hear kind of the thing, because those are the guys who will let stuff leak. um,
I can't wait to hear what Dario Saric has. That's another. If I had to rank, who would you give truth serum?
Dario
This is.
Saric is going to release pro Calvin Booth thing because he's going to be like, this fucking idiot gave me $5 million next year. Are you kidding me? That
I
guy,
saw
what a
the headline that
basketball
he was
mind.
gonna. I saw the headline that he was gonna opt in. I'm like, that is honestly the dumbest headline I've ever seen in my life. Dario Saric, that became non-optional about halfway through the season. That was
Yeah,
no longer
I'm
a
going to
player
accept
option.
$5
That was just like a
million.
check. Yep, I'm definitely gonna pick up my checks next year as well. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It's
But
crazy.
yeah, that's
Oh, I wanna do this. Fuck it. We're an hour and 15 in. We might as well keep going. I'm enjoying the conversation. If you could give three people in the organization truth serum tonight and hear just like their whole side of the story, who's your three?
I think Malone. I would want Cronky,
Josh or Stan?
Josh, 100%, and I mean, I guess Booth. I think those would be the three. I guess like it's easy to say Jokic, but I really think that Jokic would be way less interesting than people think.
Yeah.
Like I think Jokic would like he would probably say some things similar to what I've said about Jalen Pickett, but like I've already said them. Like I know it's true. Like he would just say some unkind things about the people he's being forced to play with. Um and like I don't think he involved himself in any
No.
of the head coach or like that. So I just don't think there's enough there. I want to know some stuff. Plus Cronky, I could find out some stuff about the TV deal. Um, like
Mm.
I'm interested in a lot of things from him. And then
Cronky and Malone, I think, are undeniable.
yeah, and then
Three is an interesting number because Booth is an obvious fourth, but you do have to make a decision
yeah,
with three. I think I want to go like, I'm gonna go uh, Felipe Eichenberger. I'm gonna go the strength coach because he's heard
important enough
all of
to be in
all
all
of
the conversation.
Jokic's. He's heard all of Jokic's complaints because they're very close. He's in a lot of meetings and around the team so much that he's definitely hearing all of the coach gossip. And I think and he's been there for so long that he knows how it's turned and how it hasn't turned.
Right.
So I think somebody behind and that's probably not even, there's probably somebody better that we don't even know who's like really in the shit of all of this, like the finance guy. Like I look back at my DU thing, I'm like, I should never have been at that meeting. Like that was insane. Why was I there?
Yeah.
Uh, so there's somebody behind the scenes, but I'm going to say Felipe.
Yeah, you're probably right that there is some shadowy little guy that we don't even know about who, like, we're just gonna be like, oh my god,
Like
like
Cronky's
you
assistant.
had everything, like, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think this
Oh,
could
I hope
end.
we don't fuck this up. This would be just like a devastating way for this to end.
Yeah, and I think the thing that is gonna hurt me the most is that we watched what the Mavs did with Dirk after they won the title. And we basically just did the same thing, it appears. Like,
Oh God, don't say it like that.
and I'm happy to watch, just like Mavs fans, we're happy to watch Dirk be freaking awesome for as long as he wants to be freaking awesome.
It would also be hilarious if we brought in Steve Nash like the Mavs team did. Didn't they bring in Steve Nash too?
Well, they had Nash to begin with. Then they traded him to the Suns, and he was MVP for a while.
Yeah.
And then it was looking
But
bad.
they got him
Then
again.
they won
though,
the
right?
title, and
Yeah.
But
That'd be great. We should bring it full circle. I love Steve Nash on this team. I think he's a great people guy. He'd love X's and O's with Jokic. I think it would rejuvenate his love of basketball.
Team was really hard to manage. And I think that he did a good job with personalities and all of that. And I think that
he did an awesome job.
I think he's just a really smart guy. And I think that he wouldn't have done the Mind the Game podcast with LeBron unless he was like he saw what it did for JJ, right? And I just don't know whether he wants a bigger role in media to kind of make money do that stuff there, or if it's
go get him. I'm telling you, man. Josh, I know you're listening. Go get him. Just do it. Just make it happen.
Yeah.
There's a number. I guarantee you there's a number, and I guarantee you that the Kroenkes can afford it. Those are the two things I know deep in my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can disagree with me about who that person is, but I want every Nuggets fan to really think big and believe in your heart, and then tell yourself that the Kroenkes can afford it, and
they can
tweet them.
Yeah, this is
invest. And I'm not going to be a Nuggets fan. I'm going to hopefully die with the season ticket, but that I'm not expecting us to always be good. I'm willing for you to be cheap when the team sucks. That's totally fine. Be cheap, good. And I will.
You told me, hey, while Jokic is good, we're going to be in the second apron. And then as a result, we are going to not spend money for the next 10 years on this team. I'd be like, dog, I'll still show up all the time. Yeah, no problem. You can still have my season ticket money. I would love that. Let's go for it right now. And I mean, they are deflecting criticism somehow right now. In all the podcasts and all the things, I haven't heard enough about them. And that's why I kind of opened the way that I did, in terms of it just felt like a lot of this other stuff has been rehashed or has been known for a long time about the relationship between Malone and them. And Malone's flaws have been known as a coach, and Booth as a talent evaluator. We've seen the talent, so we know he's made some mistakes.
The talent has been evaluated.
Oh, I've evaluated. And I haven't enjoyed it. But yeah, I think, as always, go Nuggets. As always, we're hoping for the best for anyone who puts on a Nuggets uniform. And you know what? If we go to the finals and Jalen Pickett just is fucking cooking, I'll do an hour-long apology. I don't care. And I'll do it with joy, in my heart. But I wouldn't book the studio time. How I'll put that to our producer. I wouldn't hold you.
We'll do it live. We'll do a live podcast where everybody, all the Nuggets fans, can come and say mean things to Kyle.
I'm down for that. We can do it old school, when they throw tomatoes at him in medieval time. You can lock me in a stock, throw tomatoes at me. That's totally fine. I will accept that, and with joy in my heart, because the Nuggets will be in the finals. But I'm not holding my breath.
Tomatoes are hard. We'll give you little cherry tomatoes.
Dang, that's.
We don't need my guy getting a concussion out there. He's about to have 2 kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't have you laid up.
That's very true. My wife would be furious. She'd be you're going to be gone for the NBA Finals now, and you have a concussion.
From getting pelted by a vine-ripe tomato in the noggin.
She'd be like, who's Jalen Pickett? What did you say about him? But just a tough time, Nuggets fans. Let's go cheer for the team. Let's hope for the best, and we will talk to you next week.
We love you, Michael. Getting fired's never easy.
Appreciate you, Coach Malone.
Calvin, I'm sure it's hard for you too. I just feel less bad for you.
Yeah, go eat a bowl of ice cream, you fat piece of shit.
That actually sounds delicious. I think I'm going to have a Thin Mint.
All right.
Well, we'll see you next week, everybody.
Like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.
Blucifer Brothers is a Crab Shell Media podcast.